Incomparable Diamondback versus Kiera Niles for the championship here on episode 1 of season 4 here in Ncw. The prominently displayed new ring looks amazing, as does the pageantry here as we get ready for action. We get a good square off along with some really good psychology in the early goings of this matchup. I especially like this sidestep cutoff by Kiera Niles off the circle, and we get a pretty solid tie-up from what I've seen from Ncw. That was pretty good. Diamondback's force to the corner is very appropriate for the situation. Throws in a little knee there. I think she should have sold it with a little bit of a grunt as we go back to tie up here. The form on that elbow collar was solid. It just needed to be a little bit more firm and fast. However, the psychology on this was excellent. Kiera Niles doing a good job of selling how much strength she has to use to power him to the corner there. I like that. The referee calls for the break. We go for a big splash there. I would have liked her to have hit a forearm or maybe even a running jumping kick or something to him. This clothesline duck under sequence was really good, although a little telegraphed, but still it's good pacing here. This is where I think an addition of a sunset rollout counter would have been very nice here by Kiera Niles. I would have worked that in. That could have smoothly been countered into this submission here by Diamondback. Everything here was solid. The selling was good. Positioning, referee's doing a good job of watching all of this. We get a rope break here. Kiera trying to take advantage. I like how she's holding it. That was really good. Make sure you hold for the count. Selling in desperation. Diamondback doing a good job of selling the frustration. Kiera Niles comes running at him. I don't think he should have just stood there for that. I think he should have just gone ahead and turned that into something because he was aware of her approach. Honestly, I would have just cut her off. We go to the corner here. All these hits are solid here. This was all good. Good contact made. The aggression is there. I like this especially. This is really good. Selling the fight. Beautiful counter cut off there with these roundhouses. I like that. That was just a nice little detail with the fight for wrist control in that earlier hold. This is good. This I especially loved. A beautiful counter with the lock for the submission. I especially love how they take the time to sell the struggle. Kiera making the perfect sounds for that situation. The strain to try to hold Diamondback. That was good storytelling. However, I don't think she should have released the hold. I think they should have gone to a rope break. Like Diamondback should have crawled to the ropes. That would have been better. All this striking we've seen so far here is all good and solid. Referee keeping good watch on the legality there. Running knee strike to the corner looked really good by Kiera Niles here. She follows up. Beautiful ankle stomp there. She stays on it. Her pacing's good. I like how she keeps busy with the movements. We go into a beautiful leg scissor hold here. Diamondback going to come up and counter with back elbows. These need to be faster and make more aggressive contact. Good counter. I think those hammers need to be laid in. Right there is the counter right there. Maybe they could have just thrown forearms at each other. It would have looked a lot better. This was especially good. The run out to a double axe handle off the rope. I don't know why she paused there to fix her hair. There was no need for that. And I want to mention that I cut ahead on this powder out sequence by Diamondback. I think Kiera should have stayed on him on the outside after that double axe handle. They could have gone around the ring, hit the ring post. There's a number of things that they could have done to keep busy during that segment. I will say that Kiera Niles shouldn't have waited for Diamondback to get back in the ring. She should have been on him the minute he got through those ropes. But check this out. This was good. Beautiful running crossbody to the corner. That was good. Better than the standard overdone cannonball flip. I love that. We go back to a single leg scissor. I like that they're keeping with the story in terms of working the limbs. Diamondback is really close to the ropes. I think he should have just gone for the rope break instead of delaying there, unless he was looking for a counter. This right there needed to be a forearm. She shouldn't have just run in. This is too soft, too slow here. She's been throwing aggressive strikes this whole match. I don't understand why we softened here. It's one thing to sell fatigue, but it should still look heavy. Beautiful signature wrist throw by Kiera Niles right there, going in for these aggressive stomps. And she stomps really well. I think she makes good contact with this. Look at that. It looks like that foot is hurting. I think there's some storytelling that could have been done because she stayed on the leg and foot. That was a beautiful irate cutoff by Diamondback. Kiera Niles does a good job of selling it. This should have been a running knee to the midsection, and then that should have forced to the corner. These should all be knees. I don't know why we're driving shoulders to the chest. It looks weird. Kiera just doing a great job of selling it, though, so it still looks solid. We're going to force the ropes. That was actually done really well. I like that clinch. This is too slow. She should have sprung off of those ropes really fast and exploded on this. That's why we have a loss of cohesion here. This is good. That was a solid standing clothesline. I think it could have been followed through a little bit more, but it looked good. Good counter. We roll her over from the pinfall. This is good follow-up right here. And this is where things get good. Check this out. Beautiful forearm follow-up and a fish hook. This is it. This is the kind of aggression I wanted to see from NCW. I didn't like this running cross block. It looked like a shove. I'm not sure why you would put that there. She throws him down, which at this point makes no sense, but she follows up with a beautiful splash. I mean, that was a really nice splash right there. Counters at one, rolls through for the rope break right there. I like that he at least follows up with aggression. However, that whole situation, there was no need to point to the rope break, after the fact. It kind of breaks kayfabe as we continue with a knuckle lock here. And this was an issue for me. Not sure how Kiera Niles would win a test of strength against Diamondback. I think she could have thrown her leg back and tripped him or something. However, I do like everything they did here to work out of it. This is all good grappling and struggle sold here. I like all that. It's really good proactivity here. I do like what's coming up here. Watch this. He tries to set her up and she desperately rolls out of the way. And look, I like that she didn't just get up immediately. She's selling the struggle here. Fatigue is sold. Diamondback does a good job maintaining aggression. I especially like the storytelling here as he sells the damage to the leg from earlier. I think he should have sold it a little bit more throughout this contest, but I do like that he remembered to put it in here. Then watch this. He's going to try to lift Kiera Niles, but then the leg gives out again. And I like how he still puts up a fight, keeping her from rolling him into a cradle pin there and just collapses on that damaged leg. But he's still using his body to keep her pressed to the mat for the pinfall, attempting to. Here, Kiera Niles also suffering damage and taps out before we're able to go into the sex lock. I wasn't happy with the fact that she tapped out before we got to this point. I think there was something that could have been done as far as the storytelling element with the damage to both their legs here. I would have recommended Diamondback completing locking in the hold on Kiera Niles. Kiera Niles would have then reversed it, and then Diamondback would have surprised us with a clinch roll-in pin, and then that would have been the finish. It would have sold the fatigue and everything. But from this point, we had like 5 different finishes to this match, and I think the best way to describe it is that the finish to this match was overplayed and undersold. I think that's the best way to describe it. I mean, try explaining to an audience who's been engaged in this match how Diamondback just miraculously can go for a flying splash after all the damage he sold to the leg. And to quote Kent Rollins, things from here got as chaotic as a 3-legged cat trying to cover 4 piles on a frozen lake in a winter storm in Alaska. There were like 5 different finishes going into the end of this piece, and there was also the matter of the referee not being aware that this wasn't a number 1 contender match, but in fact a title match. I don't know if they just didn't talk it over well enough beforehand, but he looked confused. Normally I'm not one for the less is more mentality when it comes to big title matches, but here I'm going to yield to it just for the sheer sake of there was just too much here. The entire attack on Kiera Niles by Wade Nader and the following diatribe between he and Diamondback were just completely unnecessary. But I do want to say that the match itself and its psychology was just some of the best I had seen from NCW. The aggression, the pacing was good. There's just like these little details and these little bits of story work that need to be improved with this group. And I think they're on their way, but yeah, just less is more, guys. Less is more. And I never thought I'd say that for a title match.